What is going on, YouTube people? Today, something slightly different. We're going to talk a little non-sports, specifically TCG, because a lot of that stuff has been seeing very strong gains to start 2024. Specifically, Pokemon leading the spear, but even Lorcana has seen a little bit of bump ups. The new Star Wars TCG has seen escalations in pricing, but really, like I said a minute ago, Pokemon, specifically Sword and Shield era stuff, is really leading the way. And listen, I am no Pikachu and Charizard expert. I do not collect the singles. I do not rip packs, but I do stash a decent chunk of Pokemon wax. I have quite a few loose boxes and a handful of cases of most of the recent releases going back through. Unfortunately, no Evolving Skies. I have some Lost Origins. I have some Chilling Reign. I have Silver Tempest. I have Brilliant Stars, Crown Zenith, 151, all the Scarlet and Violet releases so far. Anywhere from 2 boxes to a case or so of that product and some ancillary products as well. I mostly stick to booster boxes. And boy, oh boy, I know, like, if you watch Rudy over at Alpha Investments or any of those guys that cover the Pokemon or sealed stuff, TCGs have really gone crazy the last couple of months. Even Magic the Gathering, I didn't pull any Magic boxes here to look at, and I have some Magic boxes stashed as well from some more modern stuff. That stuff has been seeing upticks in pricing, not as strong as Pokemon. Pokemon is just an absolute monster. I know Scarlet and Violet era, people seem to be a little on it, but they are printing less of it, it seems like. Prices are just kind of hanging around like that 80 to 110 a box ish on most of those sets. I continue to stash a box here and there. I go to a show and someone has a box of Pokemon of a newer release for 80 or 90, maybe even 100 depending on the set. I'll snag it. This past Washington PA show, one of the things I was specifically looking for was the 151 Japanese booster box reprint, and a dealer there had them for 90 a box. I grabbed 5 of them because I think those are pretty good to hold long term. And when I buy Pokemon, the reason that I like it is, one, the popularity of it is massive. The collector and player base is massive. It's not going anywhere. There's tons of kids into it, huge. And I could buy sealed wax of it and I am not tempted to rip it. That's the best part. I stick Bowman Baseball back there and all I do is look at it and drool. And I just want to tear into it. Pokemon, no desire. So what's been going on? Evolving Skies is the big one. That product always goes absolutely crazy. Booster boxes of this thing are up to almost $700 now, but here's really the trend I want to show you kind of across the board. Since the end of 2023, and these were already high at the end of 2023, this is the most popular set from the Sword and Shield era, but look at the rise of this over the last 3 to 4 months to start off 2024. These were $400 a box. They are now up to $700 a box. Same thing over here, Chilling Reign. These were about 150-ish in December, crept up to the 160, 170 mark, and now have exploded the last month or so. Now, one thing, just to explain, if you're watching this as a non-Pokemon person, you kind of don't understand the back end. Pokemon releases sets, and then they'll do reprints if the product is very popular up to a certain point. We are now at the point with Sword and Shield, because it's the old block, they're phasing it out. They are not reprinting that anymore. Boxes release on the open market. They sell for, let's just call it $80 to $100 off the rip. You could find them most shops or card shows for 80 to 100 bucks. Retail price, MSRP of Sword and Shield era stuff was like 145-ish a box. That's what they sold for on Pokemon's website. You could just go to Pokemon's website, buy them whatever you wanted them, but you had to pay that. It ended up being like 155, 160 a box with shipping and taxes out the door. So that put an artificial ceiling on everything. There was like a ceiling of booster box prices will not go higher than that until they sell out. And what we have seen, 2 things have kind of gone on here. What we have seen is a massive demand for singles of a lot of these older sets and a massive demand for wax. Now, whether that's people wanting to buy wax to hold it or people wanting to buy wax to rip on Whatnot and TikTok and those sorts of places to sell it as breaks for this popular older product, or a combination of both, whatever. It's driving a ton of demand for the sealed wax. So the prices, specifically on Chilling Reign and the next couple that we're going to look at, spiked up, and they reached that Pokemon Center price point of around let's just call it $150 a box to keep the math simple. So then people start going, well, if I'm going to pay $150, $160 on eBay with shipping and taxes, I'll just buy from Pokemon Center. I know it's going to be legit. I'll get a sealed case, whatever it is. Their supply starts to dwindle. They sell out. That's where things get crazy. The stuff sells out over there on these popular sets, and now that lid is blown off the boiling pot, and it just boils over. And that's what you've seen here with like Chilling Reign. This thing was ceiling at that 150. Pokemon Center sold out, and now boom, we're up to about $200 a box. Lost Origins, same thing, was sitting at that 140, 150, flirting with 160. Right after, shortly after Chilling Reign, Lost Origins sold out on Pokemon Center. Boom, we're up to $200 a box. Lost Origins sold out literally 2 days later. Same thing happened with Brilliant Stars. Basically, it was this chain effect of, I need to chase the next thing. Oh God, Lost Origins just went. Look what those box prices did. I better get some Brilliant Stars right now because it is another popular set. Now, there are some sets that have not performed as well, but a lot of the tail end sets from Sword and Shield have done very, very well. Brilliant Stars, same thing. Like we just discussed, it was stuck at that 150 to the 160 mark all of late 2023 into 2024. We get to a few weeks ago, Brilliant Stars sell out, boom, immediately up to 185 a box. Now it has not gone up over 200, but it is now settled in at that 185 a box price point. And once that inventory burns through, it might jump over $200 a box as well. Silver Tempest is the last release from that line of booster boxes, and it is now starting to see spikes. It is flirting with, we're up to, this just jumped again, we're up to around 150-ish a box. So we are at that artificial ceiling. That pot, or that lid is now on the pot because Pokemon Center still has this one in stock. So until Pokemon Center sells out, I don't see this one going above 150 to 160. So mixed results on Brilliant Stars. It's popular, but it's not as popular as like Lost Origins and Chilling Reign, but it still seems to be a pretty solid set from what people tell me. I rely on others to gather information on how popular or unpopular a set is because I don't know the single market well enough. And my general theory has been, since I kind of got into the buying and stashing of Pokemon boxes, is especially with Scarlet and Violet, I am buying a case pretty much regardless. I know this is something that Rudy at Alpha Investments talks about a lot. If you start getting cute and trying to cherry pick what sets you think are going to be good, it increases your chances of missing. And I feel strong enough about Pokemon that even if I miss on a set, it's still probably going to do okay in the long run. And that's another thing I should note. I am not buying this stuff as a let's buy it and sit it on the shelf for a month and make some quick tendies. I'm planning on sitting on it for a few years. So once again, Silver Tempest, we're at the same thing where it is kind of floored up to that price. We'll see what happens, how long it takes for this one to sell out on Pokemon Center and what happens next. So Pokemon going absolutely crazy. An interesting wrinkle, and this is what I talked about earlier with the Washington PA show. Pokemon 151, which does not have booster boxes stateside, it's a specialty product, so they only do certain SKUs for it, but there's no booster boxes. In Japan, they did. They put out these smaller boxes. I think they were like 40 or 50 bucks US retail. No one could really get them for that price over here because you got to import them. But these were upwards of 150 to 200 bucks for most of late 2023 into the beginning of 2024. They got up over $200. And like Pokemon does, they said, okay, we can see demand for this product is crazy. This is still an inline product. We're going to print more. And it tanked the price. And this happens all the time. So right now it is down to around 80 to 90-ish a box at time of recording, which we were recording this in early May. I missed the boat on this. I didn't have any, but when they do these reprints, sometimes it's an area of opportunity. Now, I don't know if this is going to go back up or not. I have no idea. I don't have a crystal ball, but I bought 5 boxes at the Washington PA show because this set does feel pretty popular. I also have some booster bundles of this set in the US edition. So if you're a Pokemon person, sound off down below. What do you think of Japanese booster boxes of this for the long term? Are you making a spec play on the reprint at all? Pokemon is not the only thing going crazy. Lorcana, Chapter 1 booster boxes specifically have seen a spike back up in price. Remember, these came out, prices went wild. And then Ravensburger announced that they were going to print it to the moon and back again. And they did not disappoint. They did multiple reprints and it kept taking the price. Well, now, and we don't know, there's no official word yet if they're going to print more, box prices are starting to creep back up again. You can see we're at around 160-ish. They spiked way up. They pulled back down again into the like 150s, 130s. And now they're spiking back up again, sitting at around $200, $220 a box for Chapter 1. The question here will be, do they print more or not? How long do they go? Because this has been out for a hot minute now. How long do they go on a reprint or saying that they are not reprinting? If they say they're done reprinting this, prices will probably spike because people will FOMO. Now, whether it holds or not, I don't know. I currently do not own any Lorcana sealed. I had a couple boxes. I opened one on the channel. I flipped them early. The one box I ripped, I graded some stuff and sold it. I didn't hold on to it. The way they talked about reprints scared me a little bit. So we'll see what they end up doing with this one. The other chapters have been performing okay. Chapter 2 is sitting at around $135 a box-ish, so pretty much right around retail price. Has not gone crazy yet. And Chapter 3, which is a newer release, is also sitting at around that 115-ish mark. And I believe the 4th set is just now starting to get announced / spoiled. Last thing I want to touch on, I own none of this. I missed out on this one big time. Star Wars Spark of the Rebellion. This is a newer release by Fantasy Flight Games that came out first of the year. I could have had a case of these for about $90 to $100 a box all day long. And they are now at close to $250 a box. Now, careful here. They have talked like they are going to be printing more of this. So I would expect a massive, or at least some sort of reprint on this, and that may or may not tank the prices on it if the market can absorb it or not. I was leery on this for 2 reasons, and I should have seen this coming because it's Star Wars, it's Fantasy Flight. I knew it would be popular out of the gates, and I should have expected that they would have not printed enough of this. This is famous Fantasy Flight. They do this all the time. I've played a lot of Fantasy Flight Star Wars games over the years, both card and miniature. And they always drastically underestimate demand. It causes tons of issues. People get pissed. And then it really hurts the game long term because of people's experience with it early on. And then they end up overprinting it and then they screw stuff up. They have yet to nail a Star Wars game for the long term. I played Star Wars Destiny for a really long time. These same shenanigans went on. Go talk to people who played Star Wars Armada, the miniature game. Even X-Wing. Those people got fed up with stuff over the years as well. Lots and lots of issues with Fantasy Flight. They do make fun games, but they just seem to not be able to manage them, especially from a competitive side of things. That's where I worry about this. The other thing I didn't like about this product was the art. The art did not vibe with me, and that's what ultimately kept me off of it. Otherwise, I probably would have bought boxes to rip if the artwork was good. But regardless, I was wrong. I missed this one completely. These are now up to $250 a box. I would just be a little leery. I would not be buying at this price. I would wait to see if they reprint. And if I had boxes, if you even get any wind at all, this could be the ultimate sell and buy them back like you could have with Lorcana if you wanted to play that game with it. I generally don't like to try to time the market on wax. I think that's a dangerous game to play. I either want to buy stuff that I'm holding long term or buy stuff that I know that I'm immediately flipping if prices get high on it. And I don't do like a ton of whack. Like once again, to use Lorcana as an example, I think I bought a whopping 3 booster boxes off of maybe 4. Some of those were off BestBuy.com when they went up, and I grabbed 1 or 2 locally at my local LCS to have one in hand to rip on release weekend for content. And even like I said with Pokemon as well, when I buy Pokemon, I am not buying that to quick flip it. I am buying that to sit on the shelf. You won't make money quick flipping it in most cases. It might go up $5 or $10. You're not going to cover your selling fees and stuff like that. Some of that Chilling Reign and Lost Origins boxes that I bought for $80 or $90 a box, I bought 2 years ago or close to 2 years ago. So it's definitely a different game. Like I said, it being Pokemon and not being tempted to rip it is a key factor in all this, because I do not have any desire whatsoever to open that product. So that part makes it good. And then I just follow various different YouTubers and content creators and Facebook groups and things like that to kind of keep my finger on the pulse of what seems to be popular or a hot set, or what are people moving towards, to decide if I want to buy more than, a few boxes of a new release. So TCG off to a very strong start. I didn't even talk about One Piece. I know nothing about One Piece at all. I know that it's an anime. That product has been extremely hot to start the beginning of the year, but I just have no familiarity with it at all. At least Lorcana, I followed it a little bit. Star Wars, Spark of the Rebellion, I followed it a little bit. Pokemon, I follow a medium bit. One Piece, I don't follow at all. So all I can tell you is prices go crazy on that stuff. It seems like on every release, especially some of the tournament promos and things like that from the older sets. So TCG strong start. I think part of the appeal there is that you're getting 2 versions of people. You are getting collectors, people that are just buying the cards and putting sets together, and you're getting players. You see that a lot in Pokemon. The number of Pokemon collectors drastically outskews the number of players, especially on a competitive side. So, curious for your thoughts and comments down below. Do you dabble in TCGs at all, whether it be a playing, a stashing sealed, a buying singles, or is this just a bunch of nonsense and you probably haven't even watched this long? Catch you boys and girls in the next one. Peace.